Bitcoin paved the way for Wall Street to recognize that you don't have to have tangible assets to create value.
Hi, I'm Mai. Welcome back to Bitcoin Basics, where we decode the future of money together. Today, I'm breaking down a massive interview with Mr. Lee, one of Wall Street's most respected analysts and a major crypto bull. He just dropped a series of predictions that could shake the entire industry.
And trust me, if he's right, Bitcoin and Ethereum are heading for a supercycle.
Let's dive in.
That is the GPT moment for crypto. The first killer app for crypto has emerged that is now seeing widespread adoption, which is stablecoins. And now Wall Street is running to tokenize and maybe even financialize their entire system on the blockchain.
Can you believe this is happening?
Tom says Wall Street is now chasing blockchain. They're not fighting it anymore. They're embracing it, even tokenizing their entire financial system. This is huge validation for crypto. It means the old system finally admits
Bitcoin and blockchain aren't toys. They're infrastructure.
The Fed is not cutting rates, or there's tariff uncertainty, so that skepticism is healthy for markets.
Here's the twist. When everyone's scared, that's when markets explode. Tom says skepticism is fuel, not fear. It means big players haven't fully loaded up yet. This applies to Bitcoin too, and that's your window of opportunity before Wall Street finishes stacking.
You've been sort of one of the people out there in the public eye saying, no, we're going higher. We're going higher in the S&P. We're going higher in Bitcoin. You're predicting, I think, even higher prices by the end of the year. So why do you feel that way?
Well, for equities, it's really straightforward. Number one, the economy has proven to be incredibly resilient. I mean, I don't think people should take a half-empty take. We've thrown massive tariffs. We had essentially a Cuban Missile Crisis moment, and yet S&P earnings are going to grow 12% this quarter. And there's not any signs really of sustained or a reigniting of inflation.
Look at the logic. Massive inflation? The market shrugged. Tariff wars? Still standing. Tom's point is, if the market survives extinction-level events, why wouldn't Bitcoin? In fact, Bitcoin is even more resilient. It's borderless, decentralized, and gaining believers daily.
So what's your take on Bitcoin as we head into, say, the fourth quarter, eventually in the fall? Do you think we're going higher?
Well, I think that, to me, the simplest way to think about Bitcoin is that it's gaining traction as replacement for gold. I think that if someone wanted to understand the use case for Bitcoin, and there's many, they don't have a lot of conviction around something, to me, I could say easily it should supplant gold. And so I think Bitcoin should be, over 1 million over time. And then I kind of prescribing to the view that there's probably a chance that maybe the 4-year cycle is ending for Bitcoin because of the way institutional adoption of that thesis is taking place. And so you have institutional and essentially permanent holders of Bitcoin coming in. So it should be good. So I think Bitcoin should really build upon this 120 before the end of the year. So, 200,000 maybe, 250.
This is the money shot. Tom Lee, with 30 plus years of market experience, believes Bitcoin is heading to 250,000. Not someday. This year. He's not just making noise. He's basing it on adoption, institutional holders, and Bitcoin replacing gold. This is the supercycle in action.
MicroStrategy has already proven that their strategy works because they started on August 12th, 2020. Mm-hmm. They bought 260 million Bitcoin. Stock was $13. Now they own close to 5% of the Bitcoin network.
Yeah.
And they announced a huge buy last week, but the stock is 400. It's gone up 30 times.
If you want a proof, just look at MicroStrategy. They bet big on Bitcoin, and now they control 5% of the entire supply. Their stock went 30x. This isn't a theory. This already happened. And more companies are following.
Which one's in your granny shot? I think I know.
Yeah, Semler Scientific is.
In full disclosure, I'm on the board. Why did you choose that one in particular?
Well, I like what Eric's doing. So he's taking a slightly different approach, and you need to give it time to work, which is he wants to say, I want Bitcoin as a treasury strategy, and I'm going to use capital markets to stack my Bitcoin, my sats. But he also wants to have a profitable operation that can fund the cash flow into building more Bitcoin. Now, at the moment, some shareholders are like, that's not the MicroStrategy. I want pure Bitcoin treasury. But that's not Eric's approach. I like Eric's approach. So, we just want to give it time, and he's brought some folks on board, including you, to really help amplify his message.
If you're getting value from this alpha and you want to stay ahead of these huge institutional trends, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.
Tom makes it clear. The winners will be the ones who don't just hold Bitcoin, but who turn their entire business around it. It's not just about stacking sats, it's about turning your shareholders into Bitcoin believers. He's talking about a Bitcoin-first corporate revolution.
You're super bullish on Bitcoin, but then you're also tweeting that you think Ethereum is the best macro trade of the decade, and you're building an Ethereum treasury company. I personally don't understand it. And even Michael Saylor, I think, has said recently that he doesn't see a compelling reason to do so with any other digital asset but Bitcoin. So can you explain your point of view on this?
Yes. I don't see this as a conflict. It's the same reason why someone who says they like Tesla but they like Palantir, because they're both scarce stocks, right? Like, there's one Tesla because there's only one Elon Musk in the world. And there's only one Palantir because while it's not completely clear exactly how Palantir transforms companies, you can see whether it's a hospital in Michigan or wherever, they are really providing superhuman powers to a business. So, you should own both. Bitcoin to me is a proven blockchain that, in my mind, is storing value. And it is, it's like Michael Saylor says, it's immaculate. And I do think the simplest way to think of it is it's replacing gold. So at least let's get to 1 million, and then we can see how much further Bitcoin goes. But the world is also grappling with the digitalization of everything that we do. And so we're storing information, and we're tokenizing businesses, and we're tokenizing the dollar, and stablecoins have become so important, in fact, from a policy perspective, because stablecoins are now actually big buyers of treasuries collectively. I mean, that's why you may say you don't have to worry about deficits because stablecoins will buy the debt. Well, that is the GPT moment for crypto, because what's happened is that the first killer app for crypto has emerged that is now seeing widespread adoption, which is stablecoins. And now Wall Street is running to tokenize and maybe even financialize their entire system on the blockchain. But that means they require smart contracts. So they're not fighting with Bitcoin. Bitcoin paved the way for Wall Street to recognize that you don't have to have tangible assets to create value. But if you're going to tokenize what Wall Street does, and you tokenize stocks and real estate, you need smart contracts. And the biggest and most secure blockchain with no downtime is Ethereum. And it's legally compliant, and the majority of stablecoins and real-world assets that have been tokenized are taking place on Ethereum. So to me, that is the macro moment.
Okay, this may surprise you, but Tom Lee is bullish on Ethereum too. Why? Because Ethereum is becoming the foundation for tokenizing real-world assets, like stocks, real estate, even the dollar. That means the biggest institutions in the world will be building on Ethereum, and they already are. If Bitcoin is gold, Ethereum is the rails for the future of finance.
So if you had to put all your money into one, though, over the next 10 years, would you choose Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Now, why are we making that a choice?
I'm just curious. If you could just only choose one.
Well, if I had to choose, because I'm chairman of BitMine, which is an Ethereum treasury, then I, of course, would choose Ethereum.
Well, one of the reasons I asked is you had this great clip that I actually saw a couple months back of Stanley Druckenmiller. And he was talking about how you don't need to have 30 ideas. You don't need to diversify. In fact, one idea strongly held can actually outperform everything else. And
Actually, he didn't say one idea.
Okay, so
he says
a
couple of.
few.
You only need
Okay.
a couple ideas.
Well, okay.
So that's why I'm asking you about why it's one.
Okay, fair enough. Obviously, my idea is Bitcoin.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say, in my 30 years of investment history, investing experience, I've never been told to have only one choice, and I've never seen anyone make a good decision based on one choice.
When pushed to choose just one, Tom says Ethereum because he's building a company on top of it. But the real answer? You don't need to choose just one. Bitcoin and Ethereum are leading different revolutions, and Tom believes both have massive upside.
We're talking about Generation Alpha now. They're native. They're born native, and they're also going to be born in a world of AI. And so this idea of like physical money and only physical things represent value is not going to exist. So I think that's why Bitcoin's future, the best years are still ahead. For crypto, Bitcoin, obviously, and Ethereum. Not everyone will agree on Ethereum, but because we have another generation of people and decision makers that are really growing up as in a world of where AI is prevalent in their lives, and then really a token economy. So I think the best years are still ahead.
Tom ends on this powerful truth. The next generation, Gen Alpha, will never understand the world of paper money. They're growing up in a digital, tokenized, AI-native economy. Bitcoin isn't just going to survive that shift. It's going to lead it.
Mr. Lee isn't some random YouTuber hyping coins. He was a Wall Street insider who's been right more than he's been wrong.
And if what he says plays out, Bitcoin hits 250K, Ethereum becomes the financial internet, and the US government may literally buy Bitcoin through companies, then you're going to want to be early. This isn't just investing. It's front-running the future. So don't just watch this space, participate.
If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you're just getting started with Bitcoin, check out our beginner series on the channel. This is Mai, and I'll see you in the next video.